Thank you for joining us for the third video in this series featuring St. Olave's parishioners speaking about a rule of life. A rule of life is comprised of 6 spiritual disciplines, which guide us in leading healthy Christian lives as set out in our Book of Common Prayer. These include attending church, praying at home, following Jesus, talking about faith, serving the church, and giving to the church. Today, I'm joined by parishioner Anesu Machoko, who graciously has agreed to share his experience and perspective with us today about the third rule, following Jesus. Anesu, thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful fall day here in front of St. Olave's Church. To begin, I invite you to tell us a bit about your background and your life story.
No, thank you, Martha. It's good to be with you today. I wanted to talk a little bit about my life story around following Jesus. I grew up in a church family. My dad is an Anglican priest. And we grew up in a church family where we were taught about the values of going to church, about what going to church meant beyond just praying and attending church, but understanding what the Christian calendar would require of us. So these are things like fasting, Lent, Christmas, and other important Christian holidays in between. And that was really important for us to have a good background in really understanding how we could follow Jesus. 20 years ago, I came to St. Olave's, which was very nice, and I met a lot of wonderful people. People that were compassionate, people that cared about other people, and also people that were willing to support me in my journey to follow Christ.
On that note, when you're thinking about following Christ, tell me, what do you hold dear and what is really important to you?
Well, prayer is a very big part of following Christ. And just to follow on my journey, when I come to St. Olave's, it's one of the best times when I can reflect on prayer. Every time when we go through the morning book of prayer, there's a segment around confession that allows us to reflect on ourselves. And in the journey of following Christ, self-reflection is really important. It allows me to not just think about what I'm going through in that particular moment, but reflect on my actions, my thoughts throughout that entire week. It also helps me position and start to think, since it's a Sunday, how I want to conduct myself and think about others in the next week. So it is something that I have really thought about and I really care about. I also want to emphasize how much it helps me think about the difficultiness of confronting some of my problems that I might be facing, things that I might not want to discuss with other people. That moment allows me to reflect on it, to think about it, and then to see how I can become a better person, culling the bad habits that happened in the previous week and trying to become a better person going into the next week.
Can I push you a little bit further in terms of the way that this practically lives out in your life?
Well, a good example about practically living in your life is, we live in a society where we have a lot of people around us. Some of us, they need our help, or they might, we might have enemies that we think are around us, or things that are, we just are dealing with that we are not quite have a full grasp of as human beings. And I always feel that when I come to church and I pray and I put all my the things that I worry about in front of God during prayer, it allows me to have a sense of relief when I come out of it. It allows me to have a sense of perspective that I'm not alone in this battle. God is with me. My fellow parishioners are with me. So reflecting on that community of people around me is really important. As I pray for the church, I pray for my fellow parishioners, and I pray for our community so that as we experience our challenges in life, we are there for one another, and we really understand what it is to follow Jesus through prayer, through our deeds, and through the complexities of self-reflections. And to actually talk about it in more frankly, it's not a burden, to be honest. It's actually something that you look forward to. Coming to Sunday is a very exciting part of my day, and I treat it as such.
Anesu, thank you so much. Thank you for your openness, for sharing your story. And there are a lot of takeaways from what you have just said right now. And I know that this will really be helpful to all of us as we think about our journeys and reflect upon what following Jesus means for us. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you, Martha.
I invite you to join me next month when we will explore the fourth rule, which is talking about faith. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoy reflecting upon Anesu's message today. Thank you.